I came home early from deployment to surprise my wife. My legs were still sore from the 14-hour flight. I walked through the front door and heard music playing upstairs. I followed the sound, and saw her in lingerie I'd never seen before, pouring wine for my brother. She screamed, "You weren't supposed to be back yet." I didn't say a word. But the next morning, their secret was in every family group chat. I never thought the worst part of my deployment would happen after I came home. 9 months in the Middle East. The heat felt like breathing in fire every day. Most days, the sand stuck to your skin like glue. Some nights, I slept with my boots on because you just didn't know what was coming. I saw things I wish I could forget. But through it all, one thing got me through: Sarah. My wife. We'd been married almost 4 years. She was the one person I thought I could count on. She kept the house running, took care of our dog Scout, and sent me letters that felt like lifelines. She always said she was counting down the days till I got home. She had no idea I was coming back early. They gave us a few days to rest in Germany before heading back to the States. I didn't call her. I wanted to surprise her. I thought she'd freak out in a good way. Maybe cry, hug me, kiss me like in the movies. My flight landed in Phoenix around 4:30 in the evening. I didn't tell anyone I was home. I wanted to walk through that door and see the look on her face. I took a cab straight to the house. The sun was just starting to set, and I was exhausted, but excited. I hadn't been this happy in months. Our house looked the same from the outside. Neat lawn. Lights on upstairs. Music playing. Something soft and slow. I thought maybe she had something planned. Maybe she was feeling lonely and wanted to relax. I opened the front door quietly. Scout didn't come running. That should have been the first clue. I left my duffel by the stairs and started walking up. I heard voices. A woman's laugh. Then a man's voice. Close. Intimate. I got to the bedroom door. It was slightly open. I pushed it just enough to see. There she was, Sarah. In red lingerie. Lingerie I had never seen before. She was smiling. She held a bottle of wine in one hand, pouring it into 2 glasses on our nightstand. And sitting on our bed, half naked, was Josh. My younger brother. He leaned back, acting like he belonged there. My own brother. She turned toward him and laughed again. I saved this for tonight. Then she looked up and saw me. She froze. Her eyes got wide, like a deer in headlights. Her mouth dropped open. Then she screamed. "You weren't supposed to be back yet." That's what she said. That was her first reaction. Not, "Oh my God." Not, "I'm sorry." Not even, "Please let me explain." Just, "You weren't supposed to be back yet." I didn't say a single word. I stood there for a second longer. Took one last look at both of them. Then I turned around and walked down the stairs. I grabbed my bag. I left the house. I didn't slam the door. I didn't yell. I just walked. I ended up at a Motel 6 on the edge of town. I sat on the bed with my hands shaking, but I didn't cry. I just kept replaying it in my head. My brother. My wife. The lingerie. The wine. Her voice. You weren't supposed to be back yet. The next morning, I got up early. I made a pot of motel coffee and sat there in silence. Then I pulled out my phone. I had one photo. Right after she screamed, I had turned and snapped a picture. You can see her in the red lingerie, holding a wine glass. Josh is sitting on the bed, looking shocked. Both of them caught in the act. I typed a message and sent it to every group chat we had with family, mine, hers, everyone we'd ever spent Christmas or Thanksgiving with. I came home from deployment early to surprise Sarah. Found her in lingerie I'd never seen, pouring wine for Josh. She screamed, "You weren't supposed to be back yet. Just thought you all should know." Then I attached the photo. 10 seconds later, my phone blew up. Calls. Messages. Missed FaceTimes. My mom. Her mom. My aunt. Her sister. People asking if it was real. Some crying. Some furious. Some trying to calm me down. I didn't answer any of them. I didn't want to talk. I wanted them all to know the truth. And that was just the beginning. By noon that day, I had over 50 unread messages and 10 voicemails. I didn't listen to any of them at first. I just sat there, numb. Then Josh called. I stared at the screen until it went to voicemail. He tried again. Third time, I picked up. "Look," he said, "it's not what it looks like." I laughed. It was the first time I'd laughed since I got home. I was standing there, Josh. I saw everything. "She was lonely," he said. "You were gone for a long time. We didn't plan it, it just happened." I didn't say anything. He kept going. "We didn't mean to fall for each other. It wasn't supposed to go this far. Please don't let this ruin the family." Ruin the family? He was asking me not to ruin what he had already blown up. I hung up. 2 hours later, there was a knock at my motel room door. It was her. Sarah. No makeup. Eyes red. Wearing one of my old hoodies. She looked like she hadn't slept. She didn't wait for me to open the door fully. She just pushed past and started talking. "I'm so sorry. Please, just listen. I never wanted this. I didn't know how to stop it. Josh was just there, and I felt so alone, and I thought maybe you wouldn't come back." I held up my hand. "Stop." She stopped. Looked at me, like she was waiting for me to say I forgave her. Like I would fix everything for her, again. "You told me I was your rock," I said. "You sent me love letters while you were sleeping with my brother. That's not loneliness. That's betrayal." She broke down crying. Sat on the edge of the bed, head in her hands. I stood across the room, arms crossed. Watching her cry didn't hurt me anymore. It just made me tired. She begged me not to tell her parents. Too late. She begged me not to divorce her. I didn't answer. After she left, I started getting messages from family members I hadn't talked to in years. My cousin Matt sent a message, "If you want backup, I've got stories about Josh." Apparently, this wasn't the first time Josh messed around with someone else's girlfriend. He had a pattern. But this time, he went too far. My uncle called and said, "I never liked the way he talked about Sarah when you weren't around. Always a little too familiar." People started choosing sides. Most took mine. A few tried to stay neutral. Sarah's mom sent a long message asking me to reconsider, saying, "People make mistakes." I left her on read. But it still wasn't enough. They didn't know everything yet. See, Sarah and I shared a bank account. I went online to check our balances. She had emptied $4,300 over the last 3 months. All to the same Venmo account. Josh's. For grocery runs, pet stuff, help with house chores. That was my deployment bonus. My combat pay. Money I earned in sandstorms and gunfire. That's when I stopped sitting still. I sat there staring at those Venmo transactions, heart pounding. Grocery runs. Pet meds. Fixing the sink. All sent to my brother while I was overseas dodging mortar fire. Almost every other week, a few $100. Always just under $500, so it wouldn't trigger alerts. Smart enough to stay hidden, until now. That money was supposed to help us get ahead. Pay off debt. Fix the air conditioning that had been dying for 2 years. I thought she was being responsible with it. I never expected her to funnel it to the same guy who slept in my bed. So I called the bank. I froze the joint account. Then I opened a new one, in just my name, and moved the rest. I cancelled her credit card. Shut down her access to everything that had my name tied to it. Next, I called a lawyer. I told him the whole story. He said, "It sounds like you've got a strong case for marital misconduct, especially with financial misuse. Do you want to play this quiet or loud?" "Loud," I said. I wanted every legal page screaming. But I wasn't done yet. I made copies of every Venmo receipt. Every text she ever sent me while she was sleeping with him. Every "I miss you so much" that now looked like a joke. I took screenshots of the bank withdrawals. The lingerie she ordered online 3 weeks before I came home, same day she sent me a video saying she missed sleeping in our bed alone. Then I created a Dropbox folder. I named it Deployment Diary. I sent the link to my mom, her parents, my cousins, his job's HR department. Josh worked in insurance and had a strict moral conduct policy. I included a note, for those wondering if it was just a mistake or a misunderstanding. Here's everything. Start with the video from my Ring cam the night I came home. Yes, I had installed a Ring door camera before I left. And it caught Josh arriving with an overnight bag 2 nights before I came back. It caught them kissing on my front porch. It caught him coming back again and again. I never thought I'd be grateful for a doorbell camera, but it recorded everything I needed. One by one, people started messaging me again. Her aunt, I had no idea. I'm so sorry. Josh's boss, we've launched a review based on the information provided. My older brother, Rob, who I hadn't spoken to much in years, called me. He said, "Come stay with us. We've got a spare room, and you don't need to be alone right now." I moved in the next day. 3 days after that, I served Sarah the divorce papers. Josh showed up at Rob's house that night. He banged on the door, yelling for me to come outside. "You're ruining my life," he screamed. It was just one mistake. Rob opened the door instead. "You need to leave, Josh," he said. "Before I call the cops." Josh looked at him, stunned. "You're taking his side?" Rob said, "You took his wife. What side do you think I'm on?" Josh left. But he wasn't going quietly. The next day, I got a letter from a lawyer. Josh was threatening to sue me for defamation. I laughed so hard I nearly dropped my coffee. But legally, I had to respond. So I met with my lawyer again. He looked over everything and said, "Let him try. Everything you posted was true, and you've got proof. If he wants to stand in front of a judge and admit to sleeping with your wife, we'll let him." So we waited. Josh didn't file anything. Instead, he disappeared from social media. Quit his job. And Sarah? She started messaging me again. Long texts. Voicemails. "Please don't leave me. I made a mistake. We can fix this." But she knew it was over. She just didn't know that I still had one last move to make. Sarah and I had a prenup. When we got married, my dad, God rest him, insisted I protect myself. He said, "Love's great, but paper keeps you safe." So I agreed, thinking we'd never need it. The prenup had a clause: infidelity voids claims to shared property. If she cheated, she got nothing. No house. No savings. No spousal support. She signed it. My lawyer filed for divorce citing infidelity, with the ring cam video, bank records, and texts all submitted to the court. Sarah tried to fight it at first. Said I was being cruel. Said I should be more understanding. I showed the judge the video of her on my porch in lingerie, giggling as Josh kissed her neck. It took 2 hearings. That's all. The judge ruled in my favor. She got none of the house, none of my military pension, and was ordered to pay back the money she took from our account. It wasn't much, but it was enough to sting. She had to move back in with her parents. Her dad called me once, tried to apologize, on her behalf. I let him speak, then hung up. Josh? His job let him go. Word got around his small insurance firm fast. HR didn't say much, but they terminated his contract, citing conduct that could damage the company's image. He tried moving back to Flagstaff with an old college friend. That didn't last. Turns out people don't like sharing apartments with cheaters who get drunk and scream at walls. But that's not the end. Remember that Dropbox? I added one more file. A letter. I titled it, "The Truth About Me." Because I hadn't been perfect either. Before I left for deployment, Sarah told me she wanted kids. I said maybe. But deep down, I knew I didn't want them. I just didn't say it. I thought I'd change. I thought it would work itself out. She started feeling alone before I ever left. She made a horrible choice. I made selfish ones too. But I never lied. I never betrayed her. Josh did. She did. Not me. So I wrote that letter and dropped it in the folder. Not for them, but for me. For closure. Then I shut it all down. I deleted every group chat, blocked every number, and cut them both out for good. Now, I'm living in northern Arizona. Working on base, training new recruits. Sleeping through the night again. I adopted a second dog. Scout needed a friend. I don't talk about Sarah or Josh anymore. This post is probably the last time I will. Sometimes revenge is loud. Sometimes it's a quiet life after the storm. But one thing's for sure, they'll never forget the day I came home early. And neither will I.